Welcome to The Explainer. I am incredibly excited to get into the film room with you all today. We're putting on our coaching hats for a pure tactical breakdown of the 2026 FIFA World Cup clash between Jordan and Argentina. Grab your notebooks because we're going to analyze the team formations, the offensive strategies, those critical scoring moments, and the sheer technical brilliance from guys like Messi and Martinez that absolutely dictated the flow of this match. It's a literal masterclass in attacking football, and we're breaking down the whole shebang. Okay, let's dive into this because this quote right here sets the exact tone for what we're looking at today. When commentators are literally repeating themselves in absolute awe, you know you're witnessing something special. Elite football is defined by these moments of sudden, devastating precision. And man, the offensive systems in this match, they were firing on all cylinders, producing exactly the kind of highlight reel moments that completely break down a defense. Section 1. Setting the pitch. Let's look at the match context. Before we get into the X's and O's of how these attacks were built, we really need to establish our final destination, a definitive victory for Argentina, 3-1. As a coach, this scoreline is our anchor. It tells us that while Jordan did manage to find the back of the net, Argentina's offensive strategy was overwhelmingly successful. So the question we're answering today isn't just who won, but exactly how Argentina's fluid attacking formation systematically dismantled Jordan's defensive shape on the world's biggest stage. Section 2. Sustaining offensive pressure. To understand that how, we have to talk about sustained pressure. Goals don't just happen by accident, right? They're the result of relentless, varied attacking volume. It's like a giant puzzle, probing the formation, looking for weaknesses. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how Argentina achieved that pressure. Just look at the multifaceted threats here. You've got Messi, showing off flawless technical execution. His incredibly low center of gravity makes him nearly impossible to dispossess. You've players operating with lethal instincts, like Cavani. You've got Pipico finding pockets of space completely unchallenged, and then Laura Martinez taking it wide. It wasn't just one point of attack. They were systematically overwhelming the defensive unit from literally every conceivable angle. Let's talk about spacing for a second. When you leave an elite attacker like Pipico unchallenged in dangerous territory, there are immediate, terrifying consequences. He gets the ball and just paints the bar off. Even when it doesn't go in, an unchallenged strike rattling the woodwork, that sends a massive psychological shockwave straight through the defensive backline. It's a loud warning that the defensive structure is failing. Let's move to and see how this builds, because it's not just about attacking the center. Laura Martinez actively taking the ball wide is an absolutely crucial tactical maneuver. By using his explosive pace and technical dribbling on the touchline, he forces the opposing defensive formation to stretch. This creates wider gaps between the center backs and fullbacks, which opens up entirely new attacking angles for the guys in the middle. It is textbook offensive manipulation. And again, the technical skills on display are just immense. Martinez takes it wide and manages to skin the bar. As a coach, you see this and realize the razor-thin margins of elite professional football. A fraction of an inch lower, and it's a goal. But even as a near miss, it works. Why? Because constantly having to defend against shots that literally graze your crossbar physically and mentally wears an opponent down. It induces fatigue and eventually panic. Section 3. Capitalizing on defensive errors. When you apply that kind of sustained, varied pressure, the defense just can't hold out forever. Legs get tired, panic sets in inside the box, and that's precisely when an elite team strikes. Let's walk through this sequence frame by frame. It starts with a chaotic moment, leading to a possible penalty check. The review reveals a kick to the head of the attacker. So the crucial point is this: professional defenders don't intentionally kick people in the head. A reckless high boot like this is the direct result of pure desperation. It's a forced error, born entirely from Argentina's relentless pressure. The final decision? Penalty. The tactics literally forced a catastrophic mistake. And when you earn a penalty on this kind of stage, you need clinical execution. The commentary highlights the taker beautifully, a man of many goals in club football and international football. This isn't the time for nerves. It's the time for a proven goal scorer to step up and convert. By confidently bearing that penalty, Argentina cemented the tactical advantage they had worked so incredibly hard to build. Now, to be fair, Jordan wasn't just standing around. We absolutely have to credit their defensive effort. Surviving against an attack of this caliber is no joke. The commentary notes a quite deep enough, much-needed block. Jordan was forced into deep, desperate defending, throwing bodies on the line to physically block shots. It shows incredible resolve, but honestly, when you're relying on last-ditch blocks deep in your own penalty area, you are definitely living on borrowed time. Section 4. Clinical finishing takes over. As we move into the final phase of our explainer, we shift to the ultimate differentiator in football, clinical finishing. You can force all the errors in the world, but if you don't have the technical ability to finish, the tactics mean absolutely nothing. Enter Alataris. As a coach, bringing a player off the bench who gets straight into the action is exactly what you dream of. He serves as the ultimate impact player here, seamlessly injecting fresh, high-energy danger against a completely fatigued Jordanian defense. Now, what's really interesting about this explosive culmination is the sheer authority of it. There he is, goal number 6. That specific call highlights a major individual milestone reached right in the heat of the action. It's the perfect encapsulation of an offensive system clicking so well that attackers are free to execute at their absolute peak level. And 6 are the best. That assessment right there speaks volumes. It's a huge nod to the sheer quality of the finish and the elite company the goal scorer keeps. This is exactly what separates good teams from true World Cup contenders. It's not just about taking shots, it's about delivering the absolute best possible finishing touches when the lights are the brightest. Bringing our film room session full circle. Jordan 1, Argentina 3. We can clearly see now that this wasn't just a random assortment of events. This final scoreline was meticulously crafted. It was the result of a masterful tactical plan, maintaining an aggressive attacking formation, actively stretching the field wide, capitalizing on defensive panic, and relying on elite clinical finishing to close the show. Which leaves us with one final, very provocative thought to end today's explainer. Based strictly on the tactical breakdown we've done today, witnessing their ability to stretch the field, force critical errors, and deploy players who execute flawlessly, with 6 goals mentioned and dominant attacking pressure, who can actually stop this offensive system? What is the true ceiling for the squad? Think about that defensive puzzle. Thanks for joining me in the film room. Keep studying the game, and I'll see you in the next explainer.